Many cultures share an image of the devil, a red, horned beast with a pitchfork, using supernatural magic to whisper dark thoughts into human ears. Performing a forensic audit of the original Arabic source material shifts the focus from this folkloric imagery to the mechanics of the text itself. This historical data presents a behavioral law of human deviation. Instead of a monster, the script documents a set of principles grounded in the observable laws of human psychology and social systems. We analyze this through phono-semantic blueprinting. In this methodology, the Arabic root letters function as an operational sequence for system failure rather than a magical proper name. To understand this threat, we must examine the structural equations of our mental and social environments. Deconstructing the term Shaytan reveals an engineering schematic built from 4 specific variables: Shin, Ya, Ta, and Nun. Shin represents diffused complexity. It is the spreading of a signal or the scattering of elements into a state of fragmentation. Ya provides the active agency. This is the functional interface, the execution mechanism that applies power to perform a specific task. Ta defines the sustainable path. It represents equilibrium and the maintenance of a stable direction. Nun represents the persistent record. It functions as a vessel for long-term storage, retaining information across time. This sequence outlines a specific process. An active agency uses diffused complexity to target and distort the sustainable path, eventually locking that deviation into a permanent record. This linguistic breakdown identifies the mechanics of a functional malfunction. The text maps the process of structural failure directly into the vocabulary. This formula applies directly to the internal architecture of human psychology. The text uses the term Iblis to describe the origin of this vector, a root meaning a state of systemic bankruptcy or a dead end. This manifests as a psychological fracture. When an individual chooses to view their ego as superior to universal laws of truth, their mental clarity fragments and they operate as a rogue thought pattern. On a sociological scale, this vector describes any individual, institution, or ideology that spreads division. It is a functional role that disrupts the social fabric and steers development away from constructive goals. The calligraphy in this passage codifies these classifications. It clarifies that these disruptive vectors operate across different groups, whether visible in mainstream society or within uncultivated, hidden spaces. This framework classifies the disruptive vector as a functional role. It is a position humans embody when they choose to lead systems away from equilibrium and towards self-destruction. This force lacks the capacity for physical compulsion. It cannot physically move your limbs. Its influence is restricted to the psychological matrix, where it suggests false projections and immediate gratification. Model this with an aviation navigation system. Instruments show a flight path aligned with a destination. A rogue glitch doesn't break the plane. It tricks the instruments to drift 1 degree off course. Unnoticed, this divergence increases, steering the system miles away from safety. These 1-degree shifts appear in daily life as the quiet urge to prioritize greed over integrity, or a burst of pride that damages a relationship. They are the small compromises that lead to social and mental chaos. Recognizing this pattern is empowering. You do not need to fear an external monster. You only need to protect your analytical mind. By staying anchored to logic and spotting these misleading signals early, you maintain your equilibrium.